Well, people, this evening we're going to fix some salmon chowder, smoked salmon chowder. First of all, we're going to put butter, a couple of tablespoons of butter in our pan. You know what? I don't like it on this one. I think I'm going to bring it over here. We're going to melt a couple of tablespoons of butter. My onions. Letting that heat up. There's several different versions of this, so but it's basically smoked salmon chowder is what we're doing. We're going to add about a half a cup of chopped onions. I'm going to add about a quarter cup or maybe two stalks of celery chopped. And I'm going to add, you can add 2 cloves of garlic, but I'm just going to use this minced garlic this time. I'm going to put about a good teaspoonful in there. Now, if you want, you can add a couple of carrots diced. I was out of carrots, so I'm not adding them. I'm not even going to worry about it. That butter melted off of the... And I'll use this so I'm not clattering. And I'm just sauteing my onions, my garlic. You can use 2 cloves of garlic if you have it. Just mince it up, chop it up. Or you can use a good a teaspoonful, rounded teaspoon of garlic, crushed garlic. It'll take about 5 minutes for this. And it calls for wine, but I don't cook with wine. And about a teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to guess at it. Or a half a teaspoon of salt, I'm sorry. And you're just going to saute this until your vegetables are done. I've been outside, so and we're also going to need about 3 cups. Let's see what I can measure it in. I got milk in my measuring cup. That don't say how much is in there. Tell you what, I'll pour my milk out. And I know it's a cup. Now what I'm going to do is get a bowl and mix up. It calls for 3 cups or a cup and a half of chicken stock. I have chicken bouillon. What did I do with it? So I'm just going to mix some chicken bouillon in my water, and that's going to be my stock, my chicken stock. Put a little more because it did call for 3 cups. I got enough of that in there. Like I said, just cook your celery and your onions until they're clear, or they look like they're done. You don't want to leave them in there and burn them. But we do want to saute them to bring out the... And I've been running all in the yard. My hair's frizzy. I did this at the last minute. Let me open my corn. Now this is white corn, doesn't matter. You can use frozen corn if you like. I just happen to have that small can of Steam Crisp, which is white corn. At this point, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of flour. I'm just going to mix it around and let it brown a little bit with those onions and celery. Because we want a thick, creamy chowder. And you only need to cook this for about a minute, just till you get it stirred in real good. Now I'm going to add my broth, my chicken broth. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of thyme. I'm about a half. I'm not going to put a whole teaspoonful in there. My cauliflower. I've got about a cup of fresh cauliflower, and I've just got it cut in little sections. You don't have to add that if you don't like it. That's up to you. I've got 2 red potatoes, kind of medium red potatoes that I diced in little cubes because I don't want big hunks in my chowder. Put those in there. Now we're going to bring this to a boil and boil it for about 20 minutes. And it tells you, you know, you can leave your cauliflower in a whole big hunk, cook it, throw it in the blender with about a cup of your broth and puree it and then put it back. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it in hunks. I'm not going to bother to puree it. But that just helps your chowder be a little creamier. You're cooking it for 20 minutes just basically to cook the cauliflower, cook your potatoes. It may not take 20 minutes, but do bring it to a boil. And I'm going to go ahead and add, because I've got raw shrimp, I'm going to go ahead and add my shrimp to this point, to my chowder. And I've got about a half a cup to 3/4 cup of chopped salad shrimp. If they're already cooked shrimp, you can wait and add them later. But since they're not cooked, I'm going to add them at this point. Yeah, if I was going to take it out and puree the cauliflower, I would have left it in like a quarter of a cauliflower, so I could take it out in one whole section and just throw it in the blender. But like I said, I'm not going to blend mine like that. And I think I'm also going to add my corn at this point. You can wait, but I'm going to add it now. You can use salad shrimp, or in my case, I used the other half of the bag of the shrimp that I had in the bag that were 80 to 90 count. They were small ones, not quite as small as the salad shrimp, but it doesn't matter because I chopped them up small anyway. You can use any type of smoked salmon. In this case, I'm going to use just a little can of smoked salmon. It's packed in olive oil. I'm going to dump the whole can full in there after it's cooked, because this is already cooked. Let's see. I wanted to show you. You can add smoked salmon like this as well, if you like. I had this in the freezer, so. Well, I'll put it in this freezer over here. The seal on that new freezer is so strong. I can't even. In fact, I should have at least 4 ounces of salmon. I've got 3.2 ounces here. I don't know what's in that package. Let me see. I may need to put both of them in there. Three ounces. But you know what? I think I will. I think I'm going to put it all in there. This little package and that. Put it in something when I get it out of here. I'm just going to cut it in some hunks. Like I said, it is frozen. I had stuck it in the freezer because I had other stuff in the refrigerator I had to eat up before I could eat this, and I didn't want the date to run out on it. So I think with the can of smoked salmon in this, it's going to be plenty. And with the shrimp. Doesn't hurt to have chunks in your smoked salmon chowder. Turn that heat up some so we can get that to boiling. I don't think it's going to take 20 minutes. Now you can chop up a red pepper, bell pepper in here if you'd like. I don't particularly like to put my red bell pepper in my chowder myself. And the Seattle style is you can put like tomato paste or tomato sauce, red bell pepper, bay leaves, all this other stuff. But I'm not fixing the Seattle style. I mean, there's several different varieties of, you got just smoked salmon chowder, then you got the Seattle style chowder. So it's just what you prefer. And with the potatoes cut in such small chunks, it shouldn't take too long for the potatoes to cook, or the cauliflower for that matter. I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. But if you want a real creamy chowder without the big chunks of the cauliflower in it, do like I said, just throw it in the blender with about a cup of your broth, puree it real up good, and then put it back in your pot. That smoked salmon smells so good in that can. This is going to be good, y'all. I'll be eating smoked salmon chowder for days now. May even freeze some of it. going to put a lid on it, and maybe that'll help speed up the cooking process a little bit. And again, I don't want to have to stop my camera. I'll tell you what. That is already looking and smelling fantastic. That is good, y'all. Just getting a piece of potato to see how much it's cooking. Almost. But when you cut them that small, dice them up pretty small, it doesn't take long for them to cook. And it's at a rolling boil. It doesn't take long for the cauliflower to cook either. Try another piece of potato. The celery looks like it's plenty done. I think the potato's done. I'm going to add my cup of milk. I'm going to add my salmon. And I'm adding the whole can, oil and all, because that's olive oil. Now we're going to stir that up. Cook it for about 5 minutes. And we have our clam chowder, basically. Just bring it to another boil. And I really think it needed a little bit more flour to thicken it up. Sometimes they don't tell you enough. But I think one part of it is that the fact that I didn't puree my cauliflower. So I'm going to put about another tablespoon of flour in there. I'm just mixing it up, and that should help thicken it up some. Because you want a thick sauce. You don't want it to be watery. Guess what my dinner tonight is? It's smoked salmon chowder. And yeah, I know I got little clumps of flour, but it'll cook up. In the 5 minutes it's going to be for my pot to heat up and boil again, that little bit of flour will blend right, mix right in with my chowder broth. You're not even going to know it's there. And it'll take it a minute because you know that salmon, that one piece of salmon was frozen. So it was pretty cold when I put it in here. Yeah, if I'd have pureed the cauliflower, it would have made the broth a little bit creamier, thicker. But since I didn't do that, I just added a little extra flour. That should do the trick. But as that little bit of flour starts to cook, it'll thicken up. It's not going to get too thick. You don't want it too thick, but you want it a little creamy. Like I said, you need to boil it for like 5 minutes. I don't know how long it's just come to a good boil. So, yeah. I'm looking at the clock. Now this can be served with garlic toast, garlic bread as you call it, cheesy bread. Or your oyster crackers if you'd like. A couple more minutes. I mean, that cauliflower is going to basically almost cook to nothing anyway. Okay, I think it's cooked long enough. I think I'll get a regular soup bowl, if I can reach it. You think I would have had this out before now. Get a soup ladle. Oh my, don't that look good. Get a couple of pieces of that salmon on top. And I remembered tonight to go out and get some of my chives. I'm just going to garnish those on top. And there we go. Whew, I'm hot. There is our, I hope you can see it. I don't like the light. There, that's a little better. There is my smoked salmon chowder. Y'all try it. It's not that hard to make. Now, the taste test. I'm going to get a little bit of the shrimp and a little bit of the smoked salmon. And all of that goodness. Look at that. Look at that. Don't that look good, y'all? Take a bite. Mmm. That is so good. Mmm. That salmon needed to be cut up in smaller pieces, but oh well. It's good like it is. It is good. Good, good, good. Take another bite. Steaming hot. It don't need no peppers. It don't need nothing else. Mmm. Well, there y'all go. There is my, I just don't like the lighting. It just, there is my smoked salmon chowder. Y'all fix it. I think you'll like it. Y'all have a good night.